Hello, everyone, and welcome out to The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky, a podcast where I sit down with some of my friends in the local Columbus, Ohio theater, film and improv scene, and talk a bunch of geeky stuff. Some of it good, some of it bad, but all of it definitely geeky. If you enjoy our programs, be sure to subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts and to leave a review, or subscribe and leave a review wherever you can get podcasts. Our official sponsor of the show is Audible. With over 200,000 titles to choose from, get one audiobook and 2 Audible originals each month included with your trial, even once your trial ends and normal membership begins. How rad is that? Best part is you own your library, meaning you keep the books even if you cancel with Audible. Plus, you get easy exchanges. So, don't love a book? Swap it out for free anytime. Sign up for your free trial over at audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky. Download the Audible app and start enjoying your new audiobook. Also, support for this podcast has been made possible by our Kickstarter backers, Ashley Carson, Catherine Ranella, Wooz, Yannick, Doug Poeta, Christopher LeBlanc, Andrew, Kenny, Jerome Wetzel, Casey May, Anonymous, Tavia Ordway, Anthony Portillo, Jen and Brian Petrie, Guest 16554255418, Laura Spires, Kimberly Barr, Kyle Jepson. We here at The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky just wanted to offer the following discretion that this episode was pre-recorded in the last few months of 2019. In this episode, I'm still here with Amanda, and we're sitting down to talk about Charlie's Angels on this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky. It's a continuation of last week's episode. A word for the warning, though, there will be spoilers aplenty, and not just about the topic we're talking about, which is the film Charlie's Angels, but much, much more. So, listener, beware. If there's anything you want to say about any topic we covered in last week or this week's episode, join in on the conversation by interacting with us via social media or email. Twitter and Instagram is username goodbadgeeky or email goodbadgeeky@gmail.com. We may read your comment on a future episode of the show. All right, enough said on my end. Will, roll 'em.
This was a good movie. And
yeah. Thank you for getting it back.
No, really, I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked the characters. I really enjoy Naomi Scott. Like, going back to Aladdin, she was one of the only parts I liked in that. I thought she was great in Power Rangers. So when I first saw the trailer for this, what won me over is that Naomi Scott was in it.
For me, it was Naomi Scott, but mostly Elizabeth Banks was my big thing. And it's like Patrick Stewart, he's gravy. He's going to die at the beginning of the movie is what I thought. And then
I thought he was going to die, and Damon Hanzu would stick around and be the bad guy, because he's been a bad guy so much recently. It was actually nice to just see him get to be a good guy.
I know, which is sad that then he... Well, I think maybe something got cut, was when Jane cried over Sabina. I'm fine that the scene happened. It was actually very well done. Mm-hmm. But I felt like there was another scene missing where they had a fight or something. And kind of. There was something else off where she's just like, why are you crying? And I was like...
See, that didn't bother me, and I got it. And part of what I liked about it is...
I thought that was annoying.
Clearly, Jane throughout has been very much I'm fine, I'm tough. And when she said she didn't need a hug to Bosley...
Oh, I get that. Here's the thing. I completely get the arc.
Yeah.
I just felt like we just jumped from A to C way too quickly. Or, I'm sorry, probably F. We had a few other beats. With Sabina in particular.
With their friendship developing?
Yeah, because she's even during the other scenes, and granted you could say, oh, she's friend flirting, where you just you give your friend shit kind of thing, but it's you can't tell with her because she is such a badass that and Sabina said,
I'm annoying.
And so I get why. I was like, well, I guess that kind of makes sense a little bit.
It starts off with them rubbing each other the wrong way, but
she pushes her off the fucking building, which is really goddamn funny. And then she's like, are you going to let that go? No.
I'm processing.
I'm processing, which that's a fucking great thing to say.
I thought Kristen Stewart was so funny in this, but I don't know, it worked for me because when they were fighting together in the abandoned warehouse, the obligatory abandoned warehouse for every single action movie.
Yeah.
like there was a big giant abandoned warehouse in industrial place in Hobbs and Shaw earlier this year too. Actually, that was an IP I enjoyed. But
really, okay, I had not seen that one yet. But okay,
it's
Jason Statham. It's like the Meg. It's like, this is not a good
Except
movie.
It was better than the Meg.
Was it?
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay, now I'm excited.
I didn't hate the Meg the way some people did, but
I didn't think it. I mean, I knew what I was getting into with that movie.
I went in for a giant dumb shark movie, but like there was also a big industrial abandoned warehouse sort of thing, but they started communicating better to each other in that, like. When Jane's like, "Oh, I'm going to do it myself," and then Sabina's like, "No, I got your back," and like they started like, helping each other. So,
see, this is why I should see it again. To be honest with you, so I can. But
I liked that Jane cried. I don't know.
I love that she cried. I just
loved that because it was showing like you can be a strong woman and still have emotions. And guess what? You don't have to get made fun of or say that you showing emotions is weakness.
Oh my God. I watched a Parks and Rec episode where they went hunting. Do you watch Parks and Rec?
Yes, I've watched it all the way through at least 3 times.
I'm just in the middle through season 2, and it's where Aziz's character shoots Ron in the back of the head. Oh. And they have the ranger over, and you find out why Leslie covers for him, but like she gets just demeaned the whole time.
Totally.
And then she just goes fucking full tilt into it, which is really funny. But I was just like, I don't like this. And they never do like a callback where the ranger looks like an ass or anything like that. So it was just very like, fuck that guy, because that's just, he's like, you're in your period, technically is what he was saying. Do you have tunnel vision? When women go out hunting, they get the vapors and they get tunnel vision. He's like, no, granted, she also lied poorly at first, which was the joke at first, but then it kept getting worse and worse. And then finally, thank God, because they started doing like quick edits of her just talking and saying what happened. What it could be. But when they did that, they weren't giving his response anymore. It was just her. So it was a lot better, but still, you're just like, she probably did like 20 jokes or statements. So it means he 20 times made her feel like shit. Fuck that guy. Speaking of shitty guys in this movie, Nate Faxon pulling out a skeezy scumball, and I like Nat Faxon.
I know,
but Jesus,
when he first showed up, I was like, oh, "Yay, Nat Faxon!" And then I was like, "Oh, you're the asshole."
You should be careful. It's slicked back hair, Nat Faxon, which means
he reaches across the table
and touches her arm,
touches her hand, like, "Oh, you know better than this." I was just like,
"That guy,
you son of a bitch! I want to punch you in the face."
Oh, and Jonathan Tucker though did a great job. He played Hodak, the guy with the tattoos. He was like, I just remember, I was like.
He was good.
You look like Anton Yelchin on crack, cocaine, and steroids. You're freaking me out, bro. And like, I don't want to.
He's beefed up a lot.
I feel like, and then I hope the tats aren't. I'm not a big tat person in general, but I was just like, it's scary. It's too scary. Like,
I think he has real tattoos,
but like the ones where they're like neck tattoos, as Craig Bergen says, where it's like a spider web of flowers on his face. That's what it looked like. Oh, and also, I think it was, I could be wrong, is it All the Boys That You've Loved Before? Yes, it was. Noah Centineo.
Noah Centineo?
Yes,
okay, sorry.
To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
That was the other thing in the trailer, other than Elizabeth Banks and Naomi Scott, that sold me, is I was like, I fucking love Noah Centineo.
So, I have not seen Sarah Burgess is a Loser yet, and it's in my queue because I loved All the Boys. To All the Boys.
To All the Boys
is amazing.
Is so good. One of my friends was the assistant editor on it. Ashley, you did a great job. It's fantastic. But yeah, Sierra Burgess is just.
I mean, I know going into it, it's going to be okay. So there is a difference between. I would say the feeling I had going into All the Boys I Loved Before was like it's a teen rom-com.
But it's the best teen rom-com in a decade.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it completely surprised me.
Yeah.
But like, when I'm going to watch that, I know it's going to be the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like a teenage version of Just Friends, but in high school.
Sierra Burgess is very much.
Well, it's Cyrano de Bergerac.
Yeah, it's Cyrano.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm cool with that. But I know going in, like, it's not going to be as good as Roxanne. You know what I mean? Because you have a little Steve Martin flair going on there. Even though that movie doesn't hold up super well, but it's still really funny. So when he showed up, though, and also, it was such a weird, like, I didn't think she liked any, I thought she thought all dudes were just creeps, but he just was just like, let me win you over with my, granted, they had chemistry, so it didn't bother me, but he's just like, let me win you over with, like, are you going to eat that? Because there are germs. And she's just like, yeah, there's germs in the sandwich. And I was like,
my God.
The fuck? And then she's like, would you like some gummy bears?
No, what it was is the gummy bears, he figured out by all the things she had grabbed that she was making a bomb, and that was the glycerin that she needed.
Oh!
They were flirting through science.
Which makes it like, even better.
Right? And that's why it wasn't just like, here, would you like a gummy bear? But it was also like, this is what you need for the thing that the bomb you're building.
Can I also point out, and he was really just more, he wasn't really a part of the joke, but he in a verbal way, but when he throws him out of the closet, he's like, he's been here that whole time. Isn't that, well, this is funny. You just don't have a good sense of humor about it. I was just like, that is really fucking funny. He's been in there this whole time. Am I Louis XIV?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I knew from the very beginning that Sam Claflin was going to be a bad guy.
Oh, well, okay. So, again, that felt like a weird editing thing where it just felt like very abrupt where it cuts to him in the park riding his bike. Or whatever.
Or, yeah, hiking something.
Or hiking or something. And then I was like, okay, well, he's obviously a bad guy, but I didn't really get how because he was so kind of removed from everything a little bit. They were talking about him.
Yeah, as Brock, the head of
Brock, the head of... And it's like, I'm trying to get a hold of Brock Energy or whatever the fuck his name is. But wait. I actually have it. Alexander Brock.
I knew it was Brock.
Yeah. And Edgar Bosley.
Was, Damon Hansu.
Patrick Stewart was John. Okay, I will say this though: they didn't fucking show Bill Murray. Now, was that because he didn't want his fucking picture in the movie?
Oh, do you not?
Oh, I know that he had problems with Lucy Liu.
I was like, yeah, he and Lucy Liu did not get along.
Yeah, but
that's why he wasn't in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Like he apparently had filmed some of it or something, and straight up was like, they called in Bernie Mac. It was like this whole giant drama. I've heard several podcasts and things about it. But
I'm fine with. But I was like, you've done shitty Photoshop. It's not going to hurt you to do some more shitty Photoshop. Like,
I bet he didn't want his image used in it.
Which is sad. Hey, it's not Garfield. Come on. I'm just saying. Like,
they were replacing everybody with
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart.
It's like their Seal. It's Patrick Stewart. Heidi Klum. Well, we placed her with Patrick Stewart too. That was just the next logical place for me was Heidi Klum because of Seal. I also like that Johnny Smith, ended up kind of being a good guy.
Oh, yes. And I was like, instantly, I was like, he's in Crazy Rich Asians. He plays the groom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Chris Pang.
I thought it was interesting though that, and again, my basis for my memory is more the original 2000s movies, like with Drew Barrymore falling in love with the thin white man, Crispin Glover.
Oh, okay.
And I thought with Sabina and him having that where he's like, hey, it's great to run into you again. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And she's kicking some ass. And he's still trying to hit on her and take her out. Well, I was like, are they trying to do the white thin man or whatever from the original movies? I mean, actually, they look kind of cute together. Oh, sure, I'm for that, whatever. But, I mean, I hope she kicks his ass, too. It's so weird.
I mean, he very clearly, like, at the beginning, when they're in Rio, it's like, okay.
Oh, he's a slime ball.
Oh, and he's just like, oh, but women should do this, and blah, 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 and they should just...
But she clearly kicked his ass, and he loved it.
He did.
That's why I'm just like, I'm perfectly okay with if those two get... Well, that's what happens in that one. Was it Full Throttle? They're really flirty, like killing each other flirty in the first Charlie's Angels. And then when he shows up in the second one, I think, if I remember correctly, because Demi Moore is the fallen angel that tries to... Which they make reference to in this one, which I really...
Okay.
I like that they did reference...
There have been other... Yeah. Because
there's been angels that have been... Yeah. It's a sequel, but it's not... But it is. Yeah.
It's a continuation, I think, is how I saw them phrase it.
Yeah, which I really like. Because my first thought was like, they're going to ignore the other ones, whatever. But I was like...
No, they expanded on...
Right. It's like, well, you've done such a good job for the past 45 years that we are now international. I was like...
Yeah, well, and that's the thing I liked. Like I said, the Bosleys are like lieutenants, and then and that Charlie now, like, you know, and Patrick Stewart's all like, oh, I should have been made Charlie, and it's like, no, because this whole thing is about women, so it should be a woman who's fucking Charlie. But she's got to change her voice because we still live in a patriarchy.
And also, you know, no, that's not Charlie sounds cool when he sounds like whoever's doing the fucking voice for Charlie.
It was somebody new because the guy who had originally done it.
I think he did. I think he died before Full Throttle or something, right? It was something like he did the original movie, but I think he died. I don't know.
All I know is I had read that this was the first time it wasn't like Peter Townsend or whoever did the original.
By the way, Rolf, I felt really bad for Rolf. David Schutter.
Yeah, but also like he was being a creepy. He was he was being a creep to her.
No, he was. Well, but I like that she cared enough that she didn't want him to die, which was nice.
But that's because she's a good person.
And that was a good running joke. It was like, well, I liked it how like Jane was just like, they might be dead. I don't know. And then like Sabina's like, they lived. It's fine. Let's go. Like,
and then
she knows that that's what she's worried about.
Yes, that is definitely what Elena's worried about. And I also like that when she's like, oh, but Ralph, what about him? And then they're like, oh, it'll be okay. And they're looking at each other like, it's not going to be okay.
And then you cut to pulling the blanket over. But at what point did they actually tell her that he died? You know what I mean? Because at one point she's just like, well, Ralph is dead and blah, blah, blah. Like, it killed Ralph. It works.
Well, when they cut to that, I thought part of it was like
they did tell her.
They did tell her, but I thought they also still were able to... still had access to some of the audio-visual stuff, I think, or Fair something. Enough. But, yeah, I don't know. I thought this movie was so much fun, and I thought the action was done really well, and all the fight scenes and everything.
If anything, and sadly, I hope, if anything, this is what comes from the movie, is that Elizabeth Banks can do an action movie.
Another one, yeah.
And she can... Well, I'm just saying, like, this was the testing ground for that, and even though the movie didn't do well, I hope that...
Did you see Pitch Perfect 3?
I did.
Okay, because I felt like it was uneven. It was just fine. The first one is the best.
There's a lot of stunts and stuff like that when they were doing
there
like
was
the
a lot of
wire
action,
work.
Yes, and I almost felt like that was her being like, look, I can do a little.
But it's still very much, and this is no disrespect to her on that movie, but it felt to me very much like Kevin Smith trying to do Pitch Perfect, where turn the camera around this way, shoot it. There's a few interesting shots, but it's pitch perfect. You're not trying to break the wall. But this one was just like, this is a fucking like she's doing awesome train shots, doing all this and that.
Well, and I thought I saw.
So I was very much impressed. Not to say she was a bad director in any way, shape, or form, because it's different things.
Bill Pope was the cinematographer. He did like The Matrix and
that's what I'm saying. Like, she surrounded herself with great people, but like at some point though, she worked with him to set up those shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe he suggested. That's what I'm saying. Is part of it is I think she did a good job with directing, and then Bill Pope as the DP, I think they worked well together.
Oh my god!
Because he's a really good director of photography or cinematographer, and so I was very surprised in the credits when I saw that he was involved with it, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I really hope that even though this doesn't, so did you hear what she said that pissed a lot of misogynistic nerds off?
Oh no.
She wrote a response to the Times or somebody where she's just like, I don't know why it bombed, but it was like, it's probably a bunch of assholes who were pissed off that it's not another Spider-Man reboot or something. And she's like, well, what? And I think someone said, are you sure you want to say that? And she's just like, Spider-Man's been rebooted 37 times. And I was like, you're not wrong.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. The problem is that people are latching onto that. Like, it's all the Last Jedi assholes. Those kind of guys where it's like, fuck Rose, fuck Rey. It's that kind of misogyny. And I was just like, what was it? Drew McWeeny said, how about no one wants to see your movie because it doesn't look good in the marketing? It doesn't look, which is true.
Okay, in the marketing, sure.
But you know what I mean? Like, he's like, how about it has nothing to do with the fact that it's women power or whatever. It's just the movie's not enticing to people. They're not going to it. Has nothing to do with them wanting Spider-Man reboots. Or they're just not interested in the property. I'm just like, well, I wasn't super thrilled about the property, and now I'm just like, I want to see Mission Impossible style versions of Charlie's Angels.
I want them to get a sequel so much, and because
they could do well overseas, that could make them a sequel.
I hope so.
I hope so.
And I'm gonna try to like spread the word on this, and because another thing
is where I'm an asshole. Is this episode's not going up for a while, and it'll be on video by that point. But
no, that's fine.
But you know what I mean? Like, there's a part of me that has thought. I was like, I enjoyed it so much. I was like, I kind of want to release this before then because I want people to see it.
Get people to
because I want people to see it. But it's also just like, no, I've made a promise. These are the things I want. I need to stick to my plan.
Well,
but
no, that's fine. But you can still
I enjoyed
post on Facebook and
I could. That's true.
Things like that, like. I posted that I was going to see this movie, and compared to the response that I got when I posted that I went to see like Parasite last weekend, it was like just a few people, whereas I had like 5 or 6 comments about going to see Parasite, which Parasite is a better movie overall.
But it's apples to oranges in some ways. You know what I mean?
And I just feel like there's been a muted response to this, and I feel like part of that has to do with the IP issues. And
you're right.
And I really think it has to do with that, because it's a good movie. The actresses are all great in it.
They're all great. Outside of the 1 or 2 things that I kind of complained about, the writing is really phenomenal. Like, considering it's a Charlie's Angels movie, it's way better than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, it's something like when you watch Mission Impossible, this is way better than Mission Impossible deserves to be.
Better than, I thought any Charlie's Angels would be. I had so much fun with it. I loved... Like, I could tell it was happening when the guys were all surrounding them at the end and like, oh, you're outnumbered and we're going to get you.
Oh, that was so fucking cool.
But I
loved
it. Gave me chills. And that's one of the things that's like, as a woman, and it was mostly women in the theater where I saw this. I don't think I saw a single guy.
There was like one guy with mine.
It was at Lennox last night. Yeah. And you could just feel like, because there was like a whole group of like girlfriends behind me, like they had all gone together. You could just feel the energy when the lights went out, and we all knew it's going to be the women that are taking them down, and it's going to be a bunch of, like, you know it's coming, but it was like, even though it was expected, it felt so good to see that on screen.
See, now, from the guy perspective, I don't have that perspective at all. I'm just like, I just want to see some women kick some ass, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But, like, so for me, it's like, I'm very much removed from that. I just am more just like, I hope this doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Because,
For me, from, like,
awesome.
the female perspective and the representation, like, oh, God, that just, like, hit me so hard that I was like,
good.
How many times have you seen, like, spies do that? But it's never been all women. It's just like, how many times in Marvel movies have you been like,
the last one
we've got you surrounded? No, we've got you surrounded. You know, it's a trope, but it just...
The last one I saw, I think, and we had different opinions on this, was the Melissa McCarthy spy movie by Paul Feig.
Mm-hmm.
Feig,
which I love, but I know you weren't as...
I wasn't. I watched it recently, and I was a little bit better about it, but... I feel Paul has a problem, because we're tight. I can call him Paul. I feel like he has tone problems in his movies sometimes, where it's like, in terms of physical comedy versus realistic comedy. And like, there's some stuff where they try to play a little bit too real, and then it just becomes cartoonist, and then it tries to go back. And I was like, you need to embrace one or the other. To me, like, that was my problem with, my only major complaint with Ghostbusters was, that's not true. I had other complaints, but like, I enjoyed the movie. I wanted him to do a sequel, but like, the whole physical comedy bit, I was like, no, like, you can't slam her into a brick wall and she's okay. Like, that's a
Ghostbusters, we talked about that.
Yeah, that was the whole physical comedy, but like, Last Christmas was the first time because he directed that. Yeah. First time I did not
really
see a lot of physical.
A Paul Feig movie.
Yeah, like, there were some tone problems that we discussed before we started recording, but they were different tone problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was different tone problems.
Different tone problems. So, Paul, you have a tone problem, buddy. But no, so Charlie's, I don't even know how I got the fucking the tone on the spy movie.
But what was the spy movie called? The spy movie was called Spy.
It was just Spy. Okay. Yeah. Well, I keep wanting to call it I Spy. I was like, no, that's a shitty Owen Wilson, Eddie Murphy movie. Is it Eddie Murphy? Oh,
something.
It's Owen Wilson and somebody.
Like, I vaguely remember that one.
It's not the original. Hold on.
Eddie Murphy, Owen Wilson.
I was right. Oh,
you are killing it tonight.
I'll suck tomorrow. It will not happen again that well.
But it is a spy trope, but
it's nice to see that was the woman that got
see, that it's...
I get that.
It just... And that it was... I mean, I figured the assistant to Fleming was part of... When she's like, oh...
I did, but then she never came back until that moment. I was like, yeah, tying it back around.
Well, and then the way, like, in the sort of, like, end credits, as they were going through and showing, like, the other people becoming angels...
With Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld. And
who's the other girl? I felt like the other two should have been...
Olympians, too.
What? What?
Because when it comes to movies, that's like my number one nerdery. Second nerdery
is the Olympics. I did actually not know that about you.
Oh, it's ridiculous. But Aly Raisman, who's an Olympic gymnast, and Chloe Kim, who's an Olympic snowboarder, were two of them. And then it was Haley Steinfeld, and then the actress who plays Betty in Riverdale.
Shit.
Were the ones in the skydiving scene.
Jacqueline Smith, Danakia. Oh, yeah, Ronda Rousey.
Oh, Ronda Rousey and Danica Patrick. Ronda Rousey is a horrible actress, and but I like the idea that it was like, okay, I don't feel like it was her. She was supposed to be acting in that little cameo, though. It was supposed to be her as Ronda Rousey teaching the angels, the same way it was Danica Patrick teaching the angels.
Chloe Kim, she was a snowboarder.
Yeah.
And then Lily Reinhart.
She's the one from Riverdale.
And then Laverne Cox was the bomb instructor, also, which I really like that one. She's like, congratulations, you did not blow yourself up. And I was just like, all right, everyone reset it. I was like, ooh, ouch, you guys. Oh, yeah, Aly Raisman.
Yeah, Aly Raisman.
Was another angel recruit. Huda Katan, but she doesn't have a photo, so I don't remember her as well. And then, the German analyst. Oh, yeah. Which, by the way, the outcome of that was like, I don't know why. What do you want me? Where they get the actual girl that has the bowl cut.
Oh,
she's like, I don't know. I felt so bad for her, but it was so funny.
Another thing that I loved was like, I'm getting you the shipment that you want to the contact in Istanbul. And it was feminine products, because that is a huge issue in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Is like not having enough feminine products and birth control and things like that. And then she was like, let's get these on the streets. And I just like, it gave me tingles.
That was awesome. And well, okay, so I was a little confused. Did she run everything from her house, or did she, and then that part got closed down? Or I wanted to know a little bit more about that, because I felt, especially if she had her own clinic officially, and then she lost it because she helped Jane when she was with MI6. That's a fucking bummer.
And it seemed like what it was is that she had helped Jane out with something, and MI6 had said like, oh, well, if you recruit her, give her the promise that we'll take care of whatever, so she doesn't lose funding for this clinic, this women's clinic. And then they were like, oh, nope, she helped us. We don't need to help her. Goodbye.
Which is why she quit MI6.
Her. Yeah.
Which. And
I like that backstory.
I did too. Well, I guess that was the other thing too, is that she still came off like a hard ass in that scene a little bit. And that's why, to me, again, I need to rewatch it again. I want to rewatch it again. So I think that's maybe why I was like, because then the next scene she shows any type of, or she's trying to show emotion, is with her and Sabrina after they get hurt. So that's why I'm thinking. Yeah,
I think you should watch it.
Yeah,
watch it again, and like specifically for Jane, which this is like the first movie that she's basically ever done. Ella Balinski is Jane, and I thought she was fantastic. And I want to see, and I loved that like Noah Centineo's character was just like the damsel in distress, but like he was fine with it. And from what I understand, with my friend who like worked with him on set, or not on set, but she worked with him for To All the Boys I Loved Before, that like he's just a genuinely really nice guy.
That's nice.
And and that like I just loved like that because I don't feel like every young male actor would take that role where he just gets locked in a closet and the women are constantly saving him.
It's like, dude, you just need to work out, look buff but look nerdy, and be in a closet. Throw some gummy bears across the table. You good, son.
And just look cute.
And look cute.
Adorable.
Look adorable.
He was great.
Like, you're technically the straight man in this. Just shut the fuck up.
But I loved his chemistry with Jane. Like
was really good. It was so funny.
So cute.
So that was the weird thing, is that, say what you about the original Charlie's Angels, that they were in love at that period, but Tom Green and Drew Barrymore had weird fucking chemistry.
Well,
I mean,
in real life, that also did not work out so well.
Well, true, but in that moment, though, like, that's really them flirting with each other, and so you can kind of see the chemistry. You know what I mean? And it's the same kind of thing kind of happens to him, where he's like, I am a boat captain. I'm a boat captain, and I'm trapped. Ooh, or whatever the fuck he does in that movie. I just remember he's on a boat, and she's on the boat with him, and that's all I remember. I actually follow him on Twitter. He's really funny. Surprise. Yes, it's aggravating. It's aggravating. And he's very funny. He has a lot of interesting thoughts on shit, and son of a bitch. Like, I don't ever want to see him perform anymore. But like, that's not true. I saw one of his stand-up like bits, and I was just like, It's not bad, actually. But well, he's not doing.
Has he given up his whole shtick of I'm a child man?
Kinda. He makes fun of it now. It's not like Bobcat Goldthwait where he's like, I don't fucking talk like that anymore. It's like he makes fun of it in a different way than Bobcat just doesn't want to fucking talk about that part of his life anymore. Which I kind of get.
Understandable.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But Tom, in the clip I saw, he's making fun of the difference between Canadians and Americans. It's typical stand-up stuff. And then he does it. What's like Adam Sandler? Adam Sandler occasionally will bust into his boogity boogity.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. Where, but Tom, because he got lambasted, he makes fun of it a little bit. So, it's hard to. I don't want to say it's the best thing ever. I'm just saying, like,
he's funnier than you would expect.
Yes. I want to find out what the hell happened to Glenn from the Tom Green Show. That's really why I started following him. And that was a real friend that he lost, I found out. Like, he didn't die. Like, he just...
Lost him as a friend.
Lost him as a friend because he kept doing pranks with him on the show. And he's like, I'm tired of you doing this. They tried to do another show together where they were both in on the pranking somebody else, but it just didn't work. It didn't work out. And also, it's fun to see Glenn get pranked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was one... Anyway, that doesn't matter. Anything else you want to say about Charlie's Angels?
A couple things.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Saint.
Okay.
I loved it.
I'm glad it wasn't bombs, but like they should have clarified that out a little bit quicker. But again, that ruined the joke in the reveal of what the Altoids does. But like he smacks it, and the way he said, he's like, a lot of things in here go, stop that, smacks it out of her hand. I was like, it's a fucking bomb. Why would you do that? And it's like, no, it's not. But I get that, but like that was my first thing. It's like, why did you smack the bomb if it's a bomb?
But it's clearly not a bomb.
Well, but okay, the dialogue that he said after before he smacked it means something else than what. And I get he's just talking in general.
Yeah, because he smacks it out and then he's like, you know what? Just in general, a lot of things in here go boom. So
right, but that to me means that the Altoid will go boom. Oh, but then he smacked it from her hand, and I was just like, wait, what? What? Like, I get that. That's sound logic. Very sound logic. But then, of course, that was I don't know. I'm very torn over it because it does set up the expectation that it could go boom, but no one knows what it does because we're following Naomi Scott's character through that.
Yeah, she's our eyes into this new world.
Exactly. And that's fine. But there's the other part of me is just like, yeah, but that sets it up really well. So I don't know. I'm being old man yelling at the cloud a little bit on that one. Well,
okay. But I enjoyed his character as like when he's like, "Do I have permission to touch your back? Because I think this would help." And he just like, because he's like a chiropractor and
I'm also a licensed therapist.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ!
I just
so
liked
funny.
that he was the support guy.
And also, I also like this. Like, what's the cheese for? What's that code for? It's like it's called. There's a hole shaped in my soul. And it can only be filled by cheese.
Oh my God, I love it. So, like that, I was like, oh, Elizabeth Banks clearly wrote this. And the whole thing about the Birdman from Alcatraz, and she's like, the Burt Lancaster movie. And they're all looking at her. I was the only person in the whole theater laughing at that, but I was laughing so hard. And when she goes, look, people of all generations enjoy classic movies. And I was like me.
So, I kind of feel like that might have happened in real life on maybe one of the Pitch Perfect movies. And she's like, well, I got to use this at some point.
Yeah.
Because fuck you people. People know what Birdman from Alcatraz is. Like it was very funny. Like I was just like, I haven't seen the movie in years.
And they're like, Birdman, you mean Michael Keaton? No, he's Batman. I loved all of
Batman. I thought it was Ben. Then they say it's like,
I thought it was Ben Affleck. And he's like,
well,
and oh my God, people were laughing at the Batman Ben Affleck thing, but when she just kept going on about Burt Lancaster, I was cracking up so much.
I thought that whole bit was super funny. Gosh, it was so good. Good. That's again really the jokes play well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like everything plays off really well. I just enjoyed the movie. I highly recommend watching Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lucy Liu.
I want to see it again.
Destiny.
I want to take my sisters to see it. I'm gonna see if I can try to convince Jeremy that we should see this on our next movie date night, though he probably wants to see Ford versus Ferrari.
Which I heard is actually really good too, which is very frustrating because my first thing is like, I don't like cars. I know your husband's all about them. Yeah. I am not about cars, but I'm not about football either. And if Rudy can make me like football, well, son of a bitch. Someone said, I forget who it was. I think it was Drew McQueen. It was just like, it's a dad movie, but it's a good dad movie. And I'm just like...
No, that's what I've been hearing on like a lot of the awards season podcasts I listen to, like Little Gold Men and
I
the
also heard the
Awardists
fight
and stuff.
scene between Damon and Christian Bale when he's like coming back from the grocery store or whatever. It's like the most realist man fight you've ever seen, which is it's kind of bitch slapping at each other. Not like...
Okay.
But it's not like... And they're also friends, so it's also like friends fighting each other. But like they're wrestling, but they're not. But they're like throwing shit at each other. And they're like, oh shit, this might be... That's what I've heard. Okay. And I'm just like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see this. And then, of course, they were talking about, it's like, yeah, it was kind of scary because we are friends in real life, but we were actually really into the scene and we were really throwing shit at each other.
Well, it's like in
well, that's good
the
acting.
Fabulous Baker Boys.
Oh, I haven't seen that forever. That's the Bridges, right?
Yeah, the Bridges. And there's like a scene against a fence where like he's pulling his finger back because of the piano thing.
Yeah.
And I heard an interview with Jeff Bridges talking about how like they were doing that scene, and at some point, because they are brothers and they have all of this stuff, like and they were fighting, and it like almost like passed into this like teenage brother fighting, and like, are we still the characters, or are we actually fighting now, or what's going on?
So that's interesting to me because everyone I think loves Jeff, but they forget about Bo. And I'm like, now granted, Bo doesn't do as many interesting things as Jeff does. He's not the dude, but I mean, okay. I just remember I loved Bo growing up, like in the 80s and 90s. He would always be like in the background as the dad or something. But I just remember in Jerry Maguire, he played like the asshole father. Completely broke me. Like I was just like, and Jerry O'Connell's an asshole too? What? Like, no, they should be the good guys. The part where he's just like, you were in the lobby with that black fella. And you're just like, oh, you can feel the racism dragging out this fella, and he's just like, you're a fucking tool. Like,
yeah, and you can tell he's saying fella, but he means something else. Oh yeah, and you're just like,
I know. Like it's such a that also goes into no matter what you say about his more recent works, Cameron Crowe does a good job with some writing. With some dialogue. Yeah. Like, he's good with the peppy dialogue, and I'm sure that was probably something they talked about, it's like, how do we say that? Well, he's good at saying, how do we say this without saying it?
No, that's a good movie. I watched it again this past summer. I hadn't seen it in at least 10,
that was
15
marketed
years.
as a romantic comedy, and it's really not.
It's not.
But Sean Wheeler and Scott Wheeler were talking to me about how, remember the 90s when every movie had a soundtrack and it was almost always with Bruce Springsteen. And then they had the clips of the movie edited in, and they were both like, I hate that. And I was just like, I have fond memories of that. I remember Philadelphia. They would have like clips of Tom Hanks talking.
Yeah.
Also,
City of Angels.
In the arms of the angel. Yeah. No, not Arms
Angel.
No,
it was a Goo Goo Dolls song.
Iris.
Yes.
Even though they never say Iris in the whole goddamn song. It's like...
But it's those where it's like intercutting the...
Yeah, and you're just like, some asshole at a radio station made an edit, good for them, but then the problem is, like, it is enjoyable. But I understand Sean's opinion, too, which is like, well, you are taking away from the song a little bit of, like, what they're, like, if you listen to Bruce's lyrics, he's saying some shit. Some interesting, powerful shit on the streets of Philadelphia and in the Secret Garden.
The one Oscar that I have seen in real life was Bruce Springsteen's Oscar that he won for the Streets of Philadelphia.
In the streets of Philadelphia. I listened to that recently, and that song does not hold up as well as I thought, but the lyrics are good.
But I got to see that Oscar. I was closer to it than I am to you right now.
Jesus.
Because it was on display.
Who did you murder with it?
I'm kidding. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And literally, I thought Jeremy thought I was going to pass out because I just like couldn't believe I was that close to an Oscar. It was...
You should have just grabbed it and run.
It was behind glass.
You should have grabbed the glass and run. I watch it as you do that.
And I grabbed this whole giant...
I was thinking you grab it and you realize you just grabbed the glass. And then you're like, fuck, throw it.
Jeremy, we're never allowed in Cleveland again.
Yeah.
And you can't ever see Bruce Springsteen in concert again. Sorry.
Well, he's like 80, isn't he? He might not be around.
Late 60s, 70s.
Really? I feel like someone said he was like 80 or something, and I was like, are you fucking serious? Wait a minute. How old is Bruce Springsteen?
Bruce Springsteen is 70 years old.
That's still fucking old to me. Usually rock stars don't last that long. Granted, he's mostly been clean.
Yeah.
Like, alcohol is his biggest thing.
Yeah.
And he's not an alcoholic, I don't think.
But he wasn't like doing coke.
Well, that we're aware of.
Yeah, I haven't listened to his audiobook, but getting back to Charlie's Angels, one last thing I wanted to say.
I'm sorry. I just need to get that out there.
The eye makeup was amazing in this movie.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm sure it's something you never looked at.
I am interested in what you have to say right now. I know, because I have nothing to contribute.
I don't believe you, Nick. No, but seriously, anyone that are listening, Kyle, if you're listening, you will understand what I mean. The eye makeup is so on point in this movie. It's amazing.
Okay, I will when I rewatch it, I will focus on the eye makeup.
I was like, damn, I wish I could do that.
I remember Sabrina look, because she always looked like she has like rough makeup around the eyes a little bit. Not like to make her look, not that has bags in her eyes, but she looks like that's her look.
Oh yeah, they all have, in general, the makeup, they all have distinctive looks.
Yes.
But in costuming too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I never really, I mean, I know the eyes are the window to the soul, but I just, the only time I really got to see anyone's soul was when Sabina was making faces at the one girl, the boat.
Oh my God.
Which, when I did that, I was like, did Elizabeth Banks have a stroke and they left that? Because you didn't see the girl yet. You just saw them.
Her make a face.
And you just saw her just go, nah.
And then it cuts to the girl.
And then it cuts I think it was like after the second face, it cuts to the girl. And so I was just like, the fuck are they doing?
I loved it.
Oh no, I did too.
Yeah.
But like, it took me, I was like, is she having a stroke? This also proves how good she is, because she's doing way more facial work than she did in any of the Twilight movie, in any other movie that I've seen.
Movie.
Yeah.
So she was so great in this movie.
I do. If anything, go see the movie to see Kristen Stewart, not be what you think Kristen Stewart is, which is nice.
Yeah.
What is what you want from an actor. Matter of fact, I realized in that opening scene, even though it was a really misogynistic scene, I was just like, I would love to see her in a normal rom-com, which I know that's the horrible thing that my brain thought of, but like, I was like, it's just really, yeah, I know, I don't think she'll ever do it, but
no,
because it's not really her jam.
No, it's not her thing. But I loved how funny she was, and like when she's like, oh yeah, and I was in and out of like jail and blah blah blah, and I never want to go back. And Jane's like, aren't you a Park Avenue like
Harris?
And she's like, yeah. Mo money, mo problems. And then I loved later, mo money, mo horses.
Yeah. Well, and I think I watched the interview with her and Shia LaBeouf. Where
cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
It's so great. It's so great. And then it's actually Shia just going.
I love that gif.
It's a great gift. But no, the clip of there's a clip of her and him talking, and where she really. What did she say? It's something that made me thought they'd work that into the character. She is self-taught because of the schooling and stuff like that. And they both talked about that, about how it was working with like on-set teachers and all that. And also,
like, she was a child actress.
Right. Well, Dax Shepard kind of does a similar thing in a different way from his podcast, because I listened to it. He talks about how he gets very triggered. Like and you could be the sweetest person in the world, like Laura Graham or like Craig T. Nelson, or any of the cast members of Parenthood.
Yeah.
They would no spite with it, but they would correct him on something, because he's an armchair expert. He thinks he knows everything. They would correct him. He would take it instantly. Well, and he knows it now to go, no, you're not saying that because you think I'm stupid. You are saying that because you are trying to help me have correct information.
Yes.
And that's because he grew up dyslexic. He didn't learn to read for a long time. There was and he had other problems that related to his learning. And she kind of talked in a similar vein. She's like, well, I'm not really super book smart, so I read a lot. I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies. I read a lot. And so I got that vibe from her character in the movie where she's like, because they correct her a few times and she's like, well, I just wanted to know what the answer to that was. Mm-hmm. And then she doubles down on it a little bit, which was the joke and as the character. But I was just like, I feel like she wrote that specifically for her. It felt that way. And I was just like, that's amazing too. Like you wrote for your actors, which you want that sometimes, you know, because she, in my opinion, she stretched her too in a great way.
Well, I feel like she wrote to her strengths.
And isn't that funny that her strengths are she shows emotion and doesn't bite her lip? Like, you know, like I hate saying that, but like that is the trope. And I really do want people to take away from this is like, at least with Kristen Stewart, like that is what everyone's thinking of her. And we'll think of her for a long time, which is sad. Mm-hmm. This movie completely breaks that. And that's, if anything, that's why you should go into it. And then you can walk on going, that was actually a good movie. Like, fuck yes, it was.
Yeah.
That's really not the reason why you should see this movie. But if I can't get you in there, that's when I can get you to go in to see it. Then fuck it, I'll take it. Yeah. Jesus. It's a good movie. See it in theater. Well, this comes out. I hope you have saw it in theaters.
If not, rent it, buy it, stream it, all that jazz.
Unless it's illegal. Don't do it illegal.
No. So my final thoughts, I think Charlie's Angels is fun and much better than I ever thought a Charlie's Angels movie could be. And
I want there to be a sequel. I want there to be a sequel too. I know.
And their friendship is so great. And when they're all on the boat and they're just like leaning on each other, I'm like, that is what female friends do. It just felt so real and natural.
It did. I love that scene. And even though like there's really no dialogue, also it just is like, go ahead, touch your face. Like it was so funny. It's like, well, you woke her.
She does not feel dead.
She does not feel dead. Oh my God. No, I fully support watching this movie, seeing this movie, buying it, seeing it in theaters. I hope you saw it in theaters when it was out. If not, if there's ever a re-release, see it in the re-release.
Yeah.
And if this comes out before it hits overseas, which I'm not sure, because the overseas market's always weird. Sometimes they come out like months before, months after, at the same time. After. Yeah.
I know. My friends in the UK and like Australia, New Zealand are always like, I don't know. It might come out in time for me to watch this around the same time as you. It might not.
I hope if it hasn't come out yet there and you happen to listen to our show, please scope it out. It's a fun popcorn movie, and you will be greatly surprised by all the performances, all the writing. It's not what you expect it to be. It's better than the original Charlie's Angels movies, 100%.
I think so. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. Amanda, thank you so much, and check out her website, amandaagogo.com, for all the many podcasts that she does, and the Lady Pod Squad links are on there too, right?
Yeah, all of mine are Lady Pod Squad podcasts, but if you search on any social media for hashtag Lady Pod Squad, you'll find
Lady Pod Squad. You'll find them.
You'll find us.
All right, thanks, Amanda. The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky is presented by D4K Studios. Nick Argenbright and William Dell are executive producers. Co-producers are Ashley Carlson and Catherine Ranella. Editing and mixing are provided by Orality. Find out how Orality can help you by going to facebook.com/Orality Sounds. The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky is also made possible by our Kickstarter backers. To see our backers, check out our show notes over at gbgpodcast.com. The theme and end credit tracks for The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky is by chiptune artist Hide Your Tigers. You can check out their music by going to hideyourtigers.bandcamp.com. We also featured the track from Futurama, The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings, an arrangement by our own Nathan Haley. If you enjoy our program, be sure to subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts and to leave a review, or subscribe to wherever podcasts are streamed. Thanks for listening.
We're having a good time until you start up, cheapers! Go have some coffee with cream or something, because I'll tell you something. This is a happy place.